Hello everyone, how's it going? So it's been over a decade since this infamous statement made by Don Matrick that still felt to this day that completely destroyed the Xbox brand. When the Xbox One was first revealed, it was this horrible device which basically required an internet connection at all times. You needed an Xbox Connect 2.0 camera in order to operate the system at its maximum efficiency, which basically meant you had a camera staring at you 24/7, which people aren't too keen about, even though it's become the normalized today. And it didn't play physical games. Basically, the games would copy onto the internal hard drive. So essentially, they wanted to make a device where they owned everything and you owned nothing. Thankfully, a lot of people felt the backlash with this and just said nope, and went straight to Sony, because Sony came out with this famous video showing how you share your games on PlayStation, where you just hand it over to another person. And the PlayStation 4 was cheaper than the Xbox One because you had to buy the camera, which made it $49.99, whereas the PlayStation 4 was $39.99. And I remember all retailers kept saying, we have Xbox Ones. I remember they were like shelves of Xbox Ones, but with PlayStation 4, everyone was sold out because everyone just said, screw this, we're going to PlayStation, and they still haven't recovered from this. Now, Phil Spencer did come in and try to recover what he could, and for the most part, he was doing a good job. He put gamers first, he focused on pro-consumer practices, he basically tried to salvage the Xbox brand. I know a lot of people have harsh words for Phil, but if it wasn't for him, I'm pretty sure by now the Xbox brand would have just been completely dissolved by Microsoft. They would have probably just went full third party and just said, we're not making another console, even though they've hinted they're making one, which is supposed to be extra premium according to Sarah Bond, which I don't even know what the fuck that means, because whenever I hear buzzwords like that, marketed in terms like premium, like that, I instantly do not trust whatever they're trying to sell. Regardless, they decided to shoot themselves in the foot again and just repeat history, and this happened in the last month. Like, in the last month, they just decided, we're going to completely destroy everything. Like, this makes what Don Matrick did look like child's play. So first, they raised the consoles prices again. Like, this is the only generation where the console prices have gone up. Sony has done this, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo has done this closed doors, where they were probably going to sell the Switch 2 for less, but they decided, you know what, let's just sell it for higher than it could possibly be. Regardless, a top-of-the-line Xbox Series X now costs $800. By the way, you can buy a $600 Xbox, $650, which I still don't think you should do because they don't even have exclusives anymore. That was kind of the primary reason to get an Xbox. Now you could just get their games on Steam, which I agree with Microsoft with that. Exclusives are antiquated. Even Sony believes this. They released their games on PC after a year they've come out. And only Nintendo can pull this right now because they have some of the biggest brands in history. They have Pokemon, Super Mario, Legend of Zelda. So they have the top-of-the-line IPs when it comes to games. But with these companies, they can't afford to do that anymore. But regardless, you can buy a $650 Xbox Series X physical edition, which, let's face it, you should go physical for nowadays because you don't want to be in the digital-only market. Regardless, you could buy one of these and get like a 2 to 4 terabyte hard drive from Western Digital on a Black Friday sale and still have money to spare than paying for a 2 terabyte version of this system. Regardless, it's still a terrible deal in every regard. And then they decided to raise the prices for Xbox Game Pass, which was a popular service. And then they decided, you know what, $30 a month now. So $360 a year before taxes. And they doubled the price in Brazil for the PC Game Pass. And it's just obtuse. Like, even day one exclusives are just not worth this price because at least you own that game instead of just borrowing it from the company for $30 a month. But even then, you don't really own the game because a lot of Xbox titles are not even printed on the disc. Ninja Gaiden 4 is the exception, which I don't know why, but I'm grateful for that. But Halo Infinite, which is one of their top brands, which actually used to be one of their top brands, not anymore really because they destroyed that franchise. Halo Infinite's not on the disc, Starfield's not on the disc. You can check the games, like Ubisoft does this a lot, where the games are not on the disc and you need a day one download in order to play the game. Regardless, and it became so catastrophic that they decided to even get bigger with the corporatization of Xbox's gaming brand by saying there is possibly, this hasn't been confirmed yet, that there's going to be a free cloud gaming option with ads embedded. Now, we see that subscription TV services are doing this right now with Netflix, Amazon, and Disney, where they're like, hey, you can pay less, but you'll get ads now, which we went to subscription services to avoid the ads. and now it's just become cable television. And yeah, I even wrote this. At this point, I'm going to stop playing Xbox altogether. This is literally cyberpunk. Yeah, I strongly believe that. And then they removed discounts for certain benefits, like for Call of Duty points, where they just completely removed it. Granted, a lot of people stated that this is because of the $70 billion Activision Blizzard deal, where they basically did not make enough money on sales because the games were on Xbox Game Pass day one, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. But yeah, they removed this, and then it got so bad. This still makes me laugh that the website literally crashed because so many people were trying to cancel their Xbox account. It makes me, it's laughable. It's like, wow, how bad you have to be to just crash the site because people wanted to cancel it. And then retailers well, this is the wrong one, but yeah, retailers were staying in that they were going to stop carrying Xboxes. Now, Target and Walmart, in my video, a lot of people were saying I'm wrong about that it's not all retailers, this is only for certain local retailers. I actually went to my local Target, and they said, yeah, we're not carrying Xbox brand anymore for the time being. And yeah, my local Target stopped doing this, and a lot of people are just saying they're fed up with this, and I can't blame them. Retailers probably can't push Xbox anymore. More people are probably going to go to PlayStation or Nintendo at this point, because why buy an Xbox? No exclusives, middle-in hardware, despite the fact the price just doesn't complement that. For $800, you can get a really good PC, even pre-built. If you built it yourself, you probably can reduce that down lower. And yeah, I forgot to say this, on Xbox, the reward system, they actually reduced the amount that you need in order to they increased the amount you need in order to get certain rewards. I remember when I saw the rumors for this, I had a bunch of reward points saved up, and still I could not redeem it for the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, because I tried to redeem it before this went into motion. It actually crashed multiple times to the point then they just stopped allowing me to redeem it. So they got ahead of this, but when it comes to fixing all their other services, nope, they can't deal with that shit. And now it seems like, I know that was a long-winded explanation, but it just fits perfectly with this article. Microsoft pushes Xbox division to hit higher profit margins. Management goal of 30% profit margins for gaming has led to job losses and canceled projects. Now, they have canceled and closed a lot of studios. Like, the most famous to me was Tango Gameworks for The Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, and the award-winning Hi-Fi Rush. Like, they closed an award-winning studio that gave one of their biggest titles. They closed it. And now when you read this article, it starts to make sense. Like, all of this starts to make sense when you take this article into consideration. That's why I went hyper deep dive into all of this. Microsoft Co. is asking its Xbox division to produce profit margins that are well above industry average, ratcheting up pressure on its video game makers during a difficult time for a field at large. Over the past 2 years, executives at Seattle-based software giant have set an across-the-board goal of 30%. 30%! Accountability margins, a term Microsoft uses in lieu of profit margins according to people familiar with the business. The game division, which includes dozens of studios, has responded by canceling projects, raising prices, and slashing thousands of jobs, said the people who asked not to be identified discussing a non-public information. See, it starts to make sense now. Like, a lot of people are that's the thing. I was one of the rare people who were defending Phil Spencer, because based on his previous actions, it made no sense why he would go forward with all of this. Like, all of these changes started to happen when they put Sarah Bond in charge. Like, that's the thing. When she became the new, like, public face of Xbox, all these changes just start to happen. So I was just like, Microsoft probably saw Xbox and they were like, hey, you got to make good in that $70 billion deal with Activision Blizzard, not to mention buying up all their studios. But even then, I was seeing the writing on the wall, because the same thing happened with the Embracer Group. They bought all these studios, could not manage them, just thought they would just make great games, and then they collapsed on themselves because they did not manage them properly. And the same thing is happening again. Granted, that is Phil Spencer's fault. They shouldn't have bought all those studios. They should have just, like, hey, made deals with them. But that's just my opinion. I'm not a business person. Maybe they saw something that I didn't. But considering, like, all this, I feel like common sense is just gone from these people. Or maybe they overextended themselves and believed something that I wasn't seeing, because I could have told anyone that, hey, the Call of Duty brand is not as strong as it used to be because they Fortnited the game's mechanics. The games are boring, the campaigns aren't that great, and overall people just playing older Call of Duty games. Heck, look at Battlefield 6. They went back to Battlefield's original formula, and it just blew everyone's minds. Like, look, I 100% in Battlefield 6. I think it plays more like a sequel to Battlefield 4 with cut down features like no Levolution. But it's a fun game. It's superior to whatever I played for the Black Ops 6 beta. Black Ops 7 beta. Like, all the Call of Duties are the same at this point, but still. The average profit margin in the video game industry years have ranged between 17 and 22% according to the estimates from S&P Global Intelligence, while coming in 10% and 20% over the past 6 years at Xbox. Court documents from 2023 revealed that Microsoft Gaming's business had a 12% profit margin for the first 9 months of the company's 2022 fiscal year. So they want to triple that. Dude, bro, I would have told these people, you're not Nintendo. Like, the only people that I can see doing this is Nintendo, and even then, I think they're at 29%, and they have some of the biggest franchises on the planet. Like, I would bet both my nuts that people know Super Mario more than they know Master Chief. And even then, that's saying something, because Gears of War and Halo made Xbox. And look where those franchises are now. Literally, they're dead and buried. Like, that is because of mismarketing and mismanagement. You guys took your top brands and you destroyed them. And, like, you're not going to make this money. You're not that high on the totem pole. Heck, probably people know more about Kratos than they know about Master Chief in the modern day. Like, I'll bet money on that. The new goal, which hasn't been previously reported, is at the outer range of what a gaming studio can typically reach in a boom year, said Neil Barnber, an analyst at S&P Global. A 30% or better margin is usually reserved for publisher that is really nailing it, like From Software. Like, I would say Sucker Punch, but Ghost of Yotei is actually reporting that it's not doing so hot. Like, I played the game, I 100%ed it. But, yeah, it is a step down from Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's mostly because of the shock value. When Ghost of Tsushima first came out, the game was just like, oh my god, incredible. And it was at the peak where a lot of people wanted a ninja-based Assassin's Creed game. And Sucker Puncher said, fuck it, we'll do it. Not to mention, like, I played the, like I said, 100% of the game. It just didn't have the same impact of Ghost of Tsushima. The main character, Atsu, was just... she was boring compared to Jin. Like, I know a lot of people have a lot of other feelings about it, but I played the game with an objective take, and I thought it was just, like, average. Like, maybe 7 I forgot what I gave the game. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10, but yeah. In the past, game makers at Xbox weren't asked to hit specific numerical targets set to people, and were largely told to focus on making the best games possible while worrying too much about finances. Oh, bad sign. The new target was implemented in fall 2023 by Microsoft Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood, whose team has taken a larger role in game business in recent years. Dude, this sounds what happened to Blizzard Entertainment after Activision took over. Oh, like, just make great games. And then they came in with the hammer of dawn and just said, nope, put in the sparkle pony. The change has impacted strategies under Microsoft's gaming chief Phil Spencer at the division has looked for new ways to cut costs and boost profits. Oh my god. You want to know how to boost profits? Make good games. You make good games, you build a brand up, you have good recognition, and people will buy the next product that you buy because you have a good relationship. It's not that fucking hard, man. Like, I know making a good game is hard, like, that's hard, but would you have such bad optics, no one's gonna trust you for the next game. A great example of this is Marvel's Avengers. For those who don't know, this was supposed to be a 10-year live service extravaganza. Everyone who played the demo before the game came out, I played it at New York Comic Con, it sucked. It sucked so much. It was so boring. Like, actually, I would like a bad game because at least you can laugh and have fun with it, as opposed to a mediocre game. Like, I played this and I was just like, dude. And they had such an extravagant event for this game. Like, they had statues, they had glass cases, they had an entire floor dedicated. Like, I would say it took off, like, maybe 5 or 6 booths level of just space. It was huge. The game came out, tanked. And guess what happened? The next game that came out, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which was actually a really good game. Like, it's one of the best superhero games I've ever played. Heck, I would say it's better than Marvel Spider-Man 2. Not better than Marvel Spider-Man 1, but definitely better than Marvel Spider-Man 2 in terms of story. Gameplay, not so much, but the story for that game was really good. Why didn't no one play it? Because of Marvel's Avengers. That game did such bad brand damage that when people saw Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, they were like, oh, this is going to be another one of those games. People who played it, like myself, were like, holy crap, this game is good. It's actually really good. They actually put effort into this. But it tanked. And the reason it tanked is because of the brand damage. You do enough brand damage, it is not going to recover when you make one good product. People recognize the brand damage more than they recognize the successes. Look at Dragon Age, another great example. Dragon Age the Veilguard came out and it destroyed the franchise. It was cataclysmic. Like, no one cares about Dragon Age anymore. It took one game to destroy over 10 years of hard work. Like, I was playing Dragon Age Inquisition before I played the Veilguard to replay the game, and I was just like, I have no interest in playing this game anymore. Dragon Age Origins is one of my favorite games of all time. I have no interest in replaying that game anymore because the Veilguard just destroyed it. So, I don't understand this. Like, again, I'm not a business tycoon. I didn't go to an Ivy League school, but I feel like this would be common sense. Like, look at another... I know I keep giving examples. I keep going on a tangent, but I just want to build this argument. Look at From Software. When Sekiro was first revealed and people saw the Activision logo, everyone was questioning it. But you know what happened? It sold very well, and people trusted From Software. And they were right to trust them. Because guess what? They made an incredible game. Granted, I haven't finished it. I started playing it, but I got distracted. But everyone says it's one of the best one of the best games From Software ever made. And it's because From Software has a reputation. They have a good reputation. So it doesn't matter if Activision is publishing the game. It doesn't matter if EA is publishing the game. If you have From Software developing the game, they're going to be like, oh, I trust them. I know they'll deliver, and they always do. Even the lesser-known franchises like Armored Core 6, people trusted them, and people bought it just because it's From Software, and it's an incredible mech game. Like, that was the first Armored Core game I've ever played. Armored Core 6 is one of my favorite From Software games of all time. Just saying. In 2024, Xbox announced that it would begin releasing a majority of its games on consoles from its rivals Nintendo Co., Sony. For the first time earlier this year, Xbox decided to cancel a number of costly projects, including Everwild, Perfect Dark, and Project Blackbird, all of which have been in development for more than 7 years. Not every project is expected to hit 30% profit threshold. Why is my nose itching? Said the people, but many Xbox developers and groups have been presented with the new target. Now, look, I'm not sure about these projects. I think Project Blackbird was the game where Phil Spencer was so addicted to it, they had to pull him away from it. As for Perfect Dark, I saw the demo of that game, and I was like, you can't be serious. Like, I was just looking at it, I was like, this is what they wanted to show to everyone? Like, when you compare that to the new 007 game, you're just like, what the heck happened here? And they did try to get a new publisher, but it didn't pan out. I believe it was Take-Two. Or I believe it was Everwild that was the Phil Spencer game. But regardless, in this regard, I think they saw Concord. I know this is a bit of another tangent, but I think they saw Concord. And I think that game actually did more damage than we are like to associate with. Because that game was in development for multiple years, apparently $600 million, and it lasted for about 2 weeks before they offered full refunds, completely destroyed the game. Heck, Asmongold's reactions to those games and videos likely made more money than the entire game, even before it was completely pulled. So I think that game actually did a lot more damage than people are associating with, because when you put a game that's 7 years in development, this has to be over $100 million, and then you're like, this isn't done yet, it's not finished. Like, game development has changed. Like, used to be 7 years was, an adequate amount of time for a game development, but nowadays it feels like I don't think they're willing to put that many risks when it comes to games anymore. And it's also the lack of innovation. Like, you have to remember, games like Mass Effect, Gears of War, all released in the same console generation, and they had huge leaps when it came to technological advancements. I don't think we have that anymore. I think people are more rushing the game development process, and they have so absurd requirements that at this point, developers are just like, put the bare minimum and hope for the best. Moving forward, the games that are either cheap to make or deemed more likely to generate significant revenue windfalls may take priority over riskier bets, said the people, while Xbox floundering hardware division may face a significant rethinking. In the recent interview with Mashable, Xbox President Sarah Bond said that the company's next console will be very premium. This right here. Very high-end curated experience. This right here. This is just marketed words. Whenever I hear something like this or akin to this, that is a red flag. Big red flag. It's like when people say artisanal chicken sandwich. It's still a fried chicken sandwich. It has the same calories as any other chicken sandwich. You can write artisanal on it all you want. It's still not good for you. Same exact situation here. Suggesting a departure from previous iterations. Xbox spokesperson that took a long-term view in the business and said success doesn't look the same across every project or priority. We look at innovation. We look at the business as a whole, balancing creativity, innovation, sustainability across a diverse portfolio of offerings. This is just a word salad. This means nothing. Literally nothing. Halo is dead. Gears of War is dead. The two brands that made your brand what it is are literally on the bottom of the barrel. The spokesperson said, as any creative business, sometimes that means making hard decisions and stop and work on things that are no longer working for a variety of reasons and shifting resources toward projects that are more aligned with other directions and priorities. Again, I don't know what the hell that means. Like, I feel like starting a brand new project after a project that's been in development for 7 years probably costs them more because now you have to restart the entire process. I don't know. Like, at this point, maybe they did. Again, I think they saw what happened with Concord, and they are afraid that that would happen to this project because, again, 7 years in development, over $100 million probably minimum, and the game isn't ready. Like, it could be another Anthem situation where that game went through a hellish development, constant reboots, and starting over development till they just said, hey, we gotta release this thing. In that case, EA was right to put the hammer down because based on the report that Jason Schreier did for that game, it seems like it was going nowhere. Regardless, I think Xbox is cooked. Like, they started to gain traction when Phil Spencer introduced Game Pass, put gamers first, started to focus on actual video games, and now they just went full corporate. Whoever, like Sarah Bond, Amy Hood, they just decide, make money, cut jobs, use AI, which has been the primary focus for Microsoft right now. They're trying to make AI the new norm for everything. And look, AI is here to stay. Like, you can't put the worms back in the can. It's everywhere now. You can't change it. But in this case, it's not rocket science when it comes to game development. When you destroy your brand long enough, people are just going to be saying, why should I put any more money into this brand when Sony is doing better than you? And, like, when Sony is doing better than you, you know you're fucking up because they have a lot of anti-consumer practices, such as their refund policy. Like, Xbox's refund policy is literally copy and pasted from Steam. Like, you played less than 2 hours of the game, bought it within 2 weeks, refund. No questions asked. That's it. But, and with Sony, it's like the second you start up the game, unless it's like Cyberpunk 2077 levels of catastrophic, they don't give you a refund. Same thing for Nintendo. So, I think at this point, Xbox is just cooked. Like, I have over 400,000 gamer score. I have over 100 games on my Xbox digital library. This is the last time I'm buying Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Like, I bought a bunch of cards back in the day when they were like $20 for Ultimate, and they only allowed you to stack up to 2 years before it was an infinite amount. But I think after like a year or two ago, they stopped doing that. So I have until like maybe February, January. After that, I'm not paying jack shit. Like, I ain't even paying for the lowest tier, which allows for online functionality. I'll only pay for that if I absolutely need it, and I'll cancel it right away, because I ain't paying $120. I'm definitely not paying $360. And for Sony, I pay $80 a year, and I just need the online function. And even then, that's a scam, because they used to offer that for free. Nintendo used to offer that for free. Like, God. I feel like for the next generation, all Sony has to do is repeat what they did with the Sega Saturn. All they have to do is come on stage and announce the price, after Microsoft does this huge presentation, does this huge spiel about the Xbox, very premium experience, and then finally announce the price, which they probably won't do because Nintendo did the same thing for the Switch too. But if they announce the price, I feel like a Sony executive is just gonna be there and be like $299 or something along that line. They're not gonna say that because the PlayStation 5 Pro I think is $650. But they just have to say it's cheaper than the Xbox. Just repeat what they did with the PlayStation 4. And yeah, it would just be history repeating themselves. But that's my opinion. I know this is a bit of a long-winded video. I did a lot of backtracking, but I want to give context to just show, this is a series of just horrible decisions made by corporate people who have no understanding of gaming or even brand recognition at this point. Because I don't understand. Like, help me understand. How do you expect to boost profits when you are isolating your core customers, telling them to go to your competitor, and doing the worst possible decisions in order to what exactly? Like, what is the end goal here? PC does everything that you can do better. PlayStation is a more affordable option. You don't have exclusives. Nintendo has better exclusives than you. I don't know. They must know something I don't, because it just feels like they're making every bad decision. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Love to hear other people's opinions. Like, dislike, your choice. That's it from me. Bye.